Do you correct people when they get your name wrong? Talking shit about your kids? And a gender reveal reveals more than gender. All this and more on Brilliant Observations. Good morning, Amy. How are you today?
Oh, I'll say it's morning. That's about all that it is. Not sure about the good part. It's been quite a day.
Yeah? What happened
Already. Normally, we get up in a pretty methodical manner. That's already a lie. Normally, I get up and do things, and everyone eventually gets up and does the things they need to do. And today, it's kind of gloomy outside. It's kind of rainy outside. We had a very late night last night, and everyone was off their schedule. And when you get to be quasi-adults, as my children are, it's infuriating to have them mentally revert to toddler status, but still have the capability to walk around and scowl and have fully formed critiques of you and every reason that you've caused them pain.
That's never okay.
Yeah, they're walking around like, how could you do this? You know my day is so important. You woke up late. I need to be woken up at 6:45. And I'm not even home at 6:45. I'm normally in a gym crying and praying for sweet death at that time of day.
When you removed your boot from his ass after saying that, I mean...
You know, I didn't, honestly, because I'm already in the horrible mindset where I just stopped and I looked at him and I said, first of all, it's not my job to wake you up. And he's, but you, and I said, okay, you know what? I don't want to be late. I'm upset about it too. I don't want you to be late. Can we move on? You know, because the last thing that I want to do when I don't even have any time to tell you how late I am is to stand around talking about whose fault it is that we're fucking late. Go, get the fuck out. Right?
This
what
is
are
a
you
time
doing?
suck right now, son.
Jesus, I'm sure we can complain about this at some other point in my day when I've missed all the other damn things I've missed. I mean, 3 things I've missed already. It's 4 o'clock in the morning when we record this. I've already missed 3 things. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Amy, it's
Girly.
been a week.
It's been a week. I've got family members who are falling apart. Their bones are snapping. They're trying to tape them back together with, you know.
All right, let's start there. I look on Facebook and I see that your husband's brother was in a motorcycle accident. You know, the first post I see is because we are Facebook friends, he and I see that he's going on a trip with buddies. He's got a motorcycle trip planned with buddies. And I think, thank God Stuart is not friends with him on Facebook because I did not allow that. He even had a friend who was dying who pulled the cancer card and said, please, won't you let him take this course with me and then ride with me? It's like my dying wish. And I said, no, because you have cancer and he is just going to die from a motorcycle accident. And not 2 months later, I see this happened. So he's in an accident far away from home.
Far, far away from his home. His home is far, far away from our home. So it's double far away. We've got double word score in terms of farness. He and 6 or 7, I think, I never really know how many there were. There was a handful of grown-ass, very wealthy men driving around in effectively space suits. They were so super protected. Thank God. This should give you an idea. He is one of these safety first and second and third. I mean, he's just definitely all up in the safety's crack, and it's a good thing. He was riding in the pack of riders through the mountains. Isn't this lovely? And a deer decided to join their party. So a deer jumped out from the side of the road and kicked him off his bike while he was going, whatever he was going, 65 miles an hour.
That is so unbelievable.
It is. The bike is fine.
Shut up.
The fucking deer was fine. All his gear is fine. He is so fucked in this accident. My brother, perhaps you don't know this, my brother was for a very short period of time a professional road racer for motorcycle racing. So the kind where you go around the track and you drag your knee on the track and it sends sparks from your own knee. He did that professionally for a season, and he continues to do, I don't even know what it is, motocross, all this crap where you go into the woods and you jump over the hill.
Yeah.
He
Scary.
did that this past weekend. So he's very, very in tune with this whole thing, and frankly, with a lot of pretty catastrophic injuries along the line. After about 30 seconds of, is he okay? Is he going to be okay? How's the bike? I mean, that's my brother's big.
How's the bike?
His big. Can you send me pictures of the bike? Not a joke. I have the text. I can show you the text.
Oh my God.
Can you send me pictures of the gear? So it's interesting from that perspective. He gave me all the ins and outs, and honestly, he was very confused for a long time. My brother-in-law being not really conscious for most of this to be able to give us a lot of the play-by-play. The litany of things he broke was massive. He broke 8 ribs in multiple places. They became separated from his spine, which is even a worse way to break them. Broke his collarbone, lacerated his spleen, and destroyed his thumb where it needs to be reconstructed, all on the same side of his body, all on the left side. He has 0 road rash, no skin injury, no nothing.
That's crazy to get plicked off. Like
Not a
that.
nick, not a nick. He had a full face mask, an entire helmet. His entire suit is reinforced with, they call it armor.
Kevlar.
It
Kevlar.
wasn't even. It's scuffed. There's nothing. It's scuffed. We've got pictures of it. You can't even believe it.
Does he remember the accident? Like, can
we
he
haven't
tell
talked
you?
about it. We haven't talked about it yet. Yesterday was the first day that he was really able to talk for an extended period of time and say things, other than "give me more meds." That's it. So it's been a bumpy road, and he's got another surgery today, but it's the last one. So the reason that I'm so about this is because the touch and go business has been touch and go for days on end, and this is going into week number, a full week has gone by plus a weekend. So, 2 weekends, I can't even count it up. The reality is he's hopefully going to get discharged today, tomorrow. He's moving in the right direction. Everything worked out the way it should, but it's just so
It's terrifying.
overwhelming. It's so overwhelming.
It's terrifying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that scares the crap out of me.
It should. And it's the kind of thing where you don't even really process it in the right order. I'm married to his brother, and we've all been around each other long enough that in many ways, my brother-in-law feels like my brother. The in-law part is just kind of a formality. So the first thing you think is, oh my God, what now? What now? What now? And then you pretend that you're a medical professional and you spend all this time going, well, here's what they're going to be doing. And I think, and I question this procedure. We don't know anything about what they're doing, but we all want to weigh in on it, which must be super great for your husband, the doctor, to know. But that's the only way you can help. Because the other thing that you can do, or perceive that you're helping, because the other thing that you do is you sit and you watch. You watch someone be in such excruciating pain that he couldn't breathe. When he was unconscious, his body would not allow him to breathe. Even when he was so heavily medicated, he wouldn't take deep enough breaths. He started having blood pool in his lung because his body was like, screw it. Every time I breathe, I hit 18 broken ribs. Fuck you and fuck this. I'm not breathing anymore. And there was nothing they could do.
Stuart, if you are listening, this is why you will not be riding a motorcycle let's get our kids out of the house. The friend of his that had that super cool one with the sidecar, with the Snoopy goggles and the whole 9 yards. It was comical, but still, you can't, there are things you can't control, like riding with your friends and having a deer jump out. I still get mocked for when my kids say, remember that time you hit a deer? Oh, right, Mom, the deer hit you. Yes, the deer hit me. I wouldn't have hit a deer, although Stuart did at one point. It's completely terrifying. Did you see the picture I posted on Brilliant Observations of that guy who wouldn't put his beer down and took at the baseball game, who took the ball to the chest because he did not want to put down like $30 worth of beer. So he's like, I'm going to take this fly ball to the chest so I don't have to lose my beer.
It's so crazy what your brain does when in that moment, because I don't think he really thought about it. I don't think he was sitting there saying beer or death, beer or death, beer or death, beer or death.
Oh,
beer.
he definitely said, I'm not dropping these beers. I don't think he saw death as the other choice, but that's why I want to know, when your brother-in-law starts talking, I want to know what happened. What do you remember? I'm guessing he remembers nothing.
I don't know. It's a strange situation. I don't even know if he wants to talk about it or to be asked about it. Here's what we do know, because his buddies saw the whole damn thing and no one else was injured. So from what I can piece together, the deer jumped out, was startled, clipped the back of his bike. He has a it's like a BMW Motorrad, whatever. He could tell you in exhaustive detail, as could my brother. In any event, it has sort of where you carry your gear is high on the back of the bike. So there's like a little compartment up there. The deer came at the back of the bike, clipped the bike, went to jump over the bike, and doing so, rear kicked him off the bike. So he went wow and slid 40 feet on the, hit the pavement.
Rolled and rolled. Like that's what I want to know if he remembers.
He hit the ground and slid for 40 feet. And according to my brother, the motorcycler, he's like, I've seen people, going 200 miles an hour, not be jacked up. Like, what in the hell? What happened? And all we can piece together is it was so out of the blue. He was completely unprepared. Like when you trip, or someone trips you. When you're in the middle of trying to prevent yourself from injury, you do a few things. When all of a sudden, thwap, it's a lot worse. And I think what we must have pieced together is somebody's going to tell us the deer is the one who broke his ribs with his feet before the ground broke his body over and over.
Oh,
right? So, because they're just corrected in lots of places. And now they have lots of metal and screws and fun things holding them back to his little frame. He's going to have a fun time at the airport.
As much fun as I had playing with the dogs last time.
Oh, my stars. Well, what he's packing. We'll see.
Amy.
Girl.
I've figured out that I have a mentality of get it over with.
You just figured this out, did you?
Well, yeah, kind of. I have a mentality of, well, let's just get it over with. Like, is there even things I enjoy?
I know. That's what I'm like, Stuart. I feel you, brother. Sorry.
Let's just get it over with. So, oh no, maybe sometimes actually on all aspects of everything, to the point where I'm early to everything I go and do. My kids are early. Mom, why do we have to leave? We're just going to get there, have 20 minutes early. Well, 20 minutes early is on time. We had college night at school, and I took Ethan. Stuart was working, and we got there 15 minutes early, and we walked into the auditorium, and we were the only people in there. The only people. I took a picture, and I texted it to Stu at work, and I said, this place is packed. So,
were you looking around like, did I have the wrong night?
No, I mean, they were set up for it. The guidance counselors were there. The people running it were there, but we were the only participants 15 minutes early who were there.
How big is
is
the attendee pool?
He has like 350 students in his grade. And it was parent and student. So it was at least 2 people expected. So obviously 600 people aren't coming, but are we really the only 2 people here 15 minutes early?
I don't even know what to say.
It forced me to sit there and re-examine how I look at life, which is I have a mentality of let's just get it over with.
Well, I love that that's where you went. And I think that is your mentality, and we're going to dive in deep, listeners. So sit tight while I take this brief diversion. I'm still curious as to that's where your brain goes. Instead of, I want to judge all 350 students and their collective families for not being here. You're in like a super swankety, very prepared, prestigious, all of it, environment, school. This is what people go to. When I go to these things, they're horrifying. It's like a cattle call. You're waiting in line for, 20 minutes to get up to somebody to shake their hand for a millisecond. It's almost does no good for anybody. You pick up a brochure that you could have gotten online, but there's something about, I'm here, damn it. We're doing it. This is the thing. I'm in the soup.
This was This was a breakout group kind of thing. The one I was interested in going to with my kid was the Right Fit College lecture. So, because I don't want my kids to think that these 10 schools that people talk about all the time are the only 10 schools you could go to. There are a bajillion colleges. And again, somebody will take our money. And I want you to know that Penn State might not be for you. And not just because your mom thinks that it has a rapey culture, a fratty rapey culture that your mother doesn't like, because I think most colleges do at this point.
The college experience. What do we think? Rapey? No.
Let's skip that one. But if there's like I would prefer state school, but that's not going to happen. But he doesn't know what he wants to do, and I want somebody else other than his mother to tell him that these are options, because when it comes from just your mother, I've got no credibility. So he needs other grown-ups to say, look, maybe this smaller college over here that has 70,000 programs might be for you. Maybe you don't want a city, or maybe you do want a city, or whatever, just not from Missy.
I think that's all true, but let's get back to you. Ethan's great. He's got his own fucking show. Get it over with, Melissa.
I think I've passed it on to my kids as well. Ethan is having 3 wisdom teeth removed on Friday.
Well, of course you want to get that over with.
Right. But even things I enjoy, like I'll be sitting at the airport about to go on a vacation, and I get itchy, and I think, ugh, just get this over with. I just want to get that joy over with also.
That's the wonderful mystery that is you. I don't even, instead of feeling anticipation for the thing that we're all doing on purpose, willingly, excitedly, it comes right up to it, and you're like, can we not do the thing? Can we not?
What is that?
Can we not do the thing? Why? I bet you do this when you're a big Broadway, you're a big Broadway gal. I bet when you're sitting there with your $80 million tickets shoved up your nose and watching the curtain be closed and the excitement of crackling and, oh my God, it's getting ready to start. Is that when you start thinking, I just want to go to the car. I think I want to skip the show.
So that's not when I think it, but when we're in the house and I know that we have that commute into the city and then we're going to park, I think I really just wish this was over. I'm not wishing that I didn't have the experience, because I love, like you said, the theater. I love the theater and I love that experience. But yeah, I sure as fuck do wish it was over, and I have that in my joy bank. You know, I'll take the joy, but it's getting to the joy that just... I don't want to. I'm done. I can't. I don't want. It's, as Nana would say, it's too much. It's. But I do have to tell you, we did just go see Come From Away, and it was. I mean, I said to Stuart, did I love it this much because we're New Yorkers and we feel the New York? Because I lived in Manhattan, do we feel that New York connection so deeply? And he said, no, I think everybody who should see this show, and they will all love it. It was amazing. It was an amazing show, to the point where my son, who audible eye roll more so than I, wishes everything was over before I even dream it up in the first place, loved it. He said, that was a really good show. And I said, what? Who is that? He loved it. It was so good. I would see it again and again.
I'm so glad I had the chance to see it. I feel like probably twice, and I skipped it both times. Where we live down here in North Carolina.
Oh, honey, no.
We have the traveling. No. I've had the chance to see it on Broadway in New York, and I skipped it twice. In North Carolina, it's now an established enough show that it's traveling. So the Broadway, whatever, is we've got season tickets to the thing here where they travel. So
thank God.
I see it this year. And I have to see.
So excited.
Oh, did you hear what I just did? I'm so sorry. I'll say what I was going to say, and then I'll take it immediately back. I have to see Wicked again. Wicked is the first one in the thing. Look at her eyes. Honey, I think it's great. And I do love seeing it once, or maybe, I mean, how many times have you seen Wicked? 87?
Can't tell you. Well,
are you in the cast?
Mallory wanted that to be her birthday present every year for the rest of her life.
I think you have made it so.
We've done a good job. We've seen it several times and cry every time. You've
seen it several times each year. Truth.
I've seen it with you. Yep. I've seen it with you. I've seen it with a lot of people. I like sharing that experience. But if given the choice, now that I've seen Come From Away, I think Come From Away was Tony Award winning Best Musical 2 years ago. You have to. And you have to call me the second it's over.
I will do.
All right. You have to get all the snot out of your head first and then call me the second it's over, because you're an empath and you feel all of everybody's feels. So I don't even know how sometimes you walk the earth.
It's awful, but all of my emotions are on the outside, and they're constantly touching everything and going zing, 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 zing. But probably what I'm going to connect with more is we are immigrants, immigrant stock. So if it is truly a story of there was something great somewhere else, but damn it, we have to leave because we're going to go for the promise of something else, and let's see how that plays out. That's the story of my life. So we'll see.
It is the story of all of the planes that were in the air on 9/11 landing in Newfoundland. Everybody landed there because they can't come back to the U.S. So all of these Americans with, I'm going to say, their entitlement, their fears, their everything, land in this town of non-Americans. So they're Canadian and fucking delightful. In a town that has 900 people, which is now doubled in population with like 30 some flights landing. And now what do? They rally in a way that just is so touching and so amazing, and how everybody's lives, not just because of 9/11, not just because of a terrorist attack, everybody's lives are changed. And it's brilliant and wonderful, and the music's great, and it's funny, and it's so great. It's so great. I can't wait for you to see it.
I cannot believe that is the story. We all have a 9/11 story. God bless us all. And it's a tough one. And I love it when people are able to take that moment and turn it into something other than just the continuous transformative sadness that it was and continues to be. Having said all that, why did I think that this was the story of like a bunch of people from Caribbean, Jamaica, who knows where, coming through Ellis Island?
Once upon this island? I don't know. Are you
That's
thinking?
That's what I fucking thought. This is not that fucking show.
No.
Well, I didn't see that one either.
No, I didn't either. But I
was
yes.
like, shit, she's getting all verklempt. She didn't even,
oh my God,
it didn't come from away. That's a better title. Dopes.
It's this, look, Mallory,
I have a bone to
this.
pick with you. Isn't this the Hamiltonian person? Isn't this Lin-Manuel Miranda? Didn't he write this as well?
No.
Are you sure?
No, but I've seen In the Heights that he wrote. I've seen this.
Oh, he wrote In the Heights. They're all the fucking, it's 3 words. That's why.
Okay, so I'm excited that you have a subscription because now theater will become a thing and not an idea for you.
Oh, fuck you. Theater has always been a thing, and I'm in the theater more than you, Missy.
Yeah, that's probably very true.
Quite literally in it. So in a very big way. Just, we'll leave that there.
I first thought, when I saw the show, wow, they get to wear their street clothes. How brilliant that people don't have to dress in weird costumes because they're regular everyday people.
That's right. They're coming from the Caribbean and they dress just like us.
Okay, so it has got nothing to do with the Caribbean. So can you explain to me why I want to get everything over with as soon as possible?
I can't. And it is a puzzlement that is just part of your charm. It's very strange because I don't know what the end goal is. It's almost like there's a motor in you that gets a gold star if you complete the thing first. And you sort of lose sight of the fact that there can be some incremental joy in the act of completing the thing, or there is no gold star. Like, those things don't matter. It's like, okay, here's the thing. Gotta go. Gotta do it. It's done. Oh God, thank God it's done. I don't have to do that again. Fuck, I've got to do that again. That's where you go. And I don't get it. And I worry about Stuart, who is so fucking busy. He figures out how to be, I can imagine him audibly running lists in his sleep. I can imagine him laying there going, gaga, 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 talking about all the stuff that he's doing or got to do or telling other people to do, and coming up, smiling and happy with plans for other people. He's definitely, we're going on vacation, and here, let's open up this 3-ring binder that has 84 pages of items for us to do for this 2-hour trip. It's like, thank you. I really do mean it. I really do mean thank you. And I also mean close the binder, please.
Do you think he's the reason why I have that mentality?
Yes, I do. Because in the beginning, I think you had, I don't know you from a million years back. I know you from probably 8-10 years before Stuart. I don't know you from your whole damn life, but what I think you had was a very well-developed fuck it complex. So you could be anywhere and see the stupidity, and instead of observing or participating, as I love to do, you would maybe quizzically scowl, and then fuck it, you're out. You're off to the next thing, which is, a back porch with a couple of friends and some relaxing happiness, or a television show, or a book, or a walk, or a puppy dog to scratch so I'm not sitting here and watching you dopes dangle off the bridge. I'm going to come from away. I'm going to talk about all these, Caribbean people.
So he came into my life with a binder of shit to do, and to placate him, I just want to get everything else over with now.
Well, I think your
listener,
fuck it
does
complex
anybody else
migrated.
have this?
I think your fuck it complex migrated into fuck it, I got to do this. Because there's always a and you also are really like a really good parent and like a really good wife. So you pay attention. You pay attention. Stop. You pay attention to that stupid shit. So it's not as if you can say, fuck it, I'm just not going to raise you today, toddler. It's, fuck it, we're going to mommy and me.
You big
we're going
baby.
to mommy and me.
Speaking of good parent, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, do you ever trash talk your kids? Do you ever shit talk your kids?
Yes.
Were you the one who said right in front of their faces?
Right in front of their faces. I have had, perhaps you heard, it's been quite a week or two with crazy, insane stuff going on in our house. And my husband left. He went the many, 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 many states away and miles away to be with someone else. So to be with his brother-in-law to help him. So in a finger snap, I'm holding down the fort. It's not a big deal. Everybody does it from time to time. But it went on for a week when there's a whole lot going on. We've got college applications flying out. We've got sports. We've got this. We've got...
And he had company coming.
We had company flying in.
He had company coming in.
That needed to be picked up at an airport an hour and a half away for some ungodly reason when we have an airport 15 minutes away. So, yeah. So it was a little... And we had, all sorts of tickets and... okay. We're doing it. That's our life. So that's our life. So the middle child really, really, he is the best middle child that you can ever imagine. He embraces his middle childedness, and it's a wonder that he's still walking the earth. He's the one that said, I can't believe you didn't wake me up on time this morning because I am 14 years old and I still blame you for everything. So I was ready to kill him long before my husband returned home. And when he finally did return home and things were on the mend and we were all sort of smiling and happy and we'd been through our 18th craziness of the day. And we got a house full of people on Sunday afternoon. I went, just because this is the way it was going to go, I was filled with hubris, making dinner for everybody. I didn't have a dessert. I didn't want to run out and get a dessert. So I made brownies from scratch with no recipe, which is...
Why would you do that?
Because that's, welcome to my world,
Are you that good?
A lot of times I am, and and on Sunday I was not.
Oh,
so these brownies were not brownies. They were more like a very fudgy chocolate flattened cake. So they were just too cakey, and they're okay, but it's not.
Here's your new segment. It's not, hey Amy, what's cooking? It's, I'd eat that.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
I'd eat that.
So one of the guest children, he got himself a tray and a giant plate and this huge brownie, and he was looking at it like it was a lover, and he was just...
I'd eat the shit out of that,
He was going
Amy.
crazy. And then my middle child picks it up, and he takes one bite of this fucking brownie, one bite, and he goes, I think this is the worst thing you've ever made. In front of a whole house full of people.
Go to your room.
And I just look at him, and I'm like, thank you, son. And the little, God bless him, the little one looks up, his face caked with this chocolate particulate all over it, right? He looks up and he goes, it's a brownie, man. What could go wrong? And he just keeps shoveling it in, right? Later, I went over when talking trash right in front of his face is minutes away from where we are, right? So my son later is just minutes away from where we are in the kitchen. I pick up one of these brownies and I try it. And it does indeed suck. It's not worth eating. It's okay. It's not worth eating.
Doesn't taste like chocolate? Doesn't have yeah,
it's a brownie, but maybe you've not had one of my brownies, Melissa. They make you sit on the floor and weep. They're spectacular.
Can you make those for our December trip, please?
I will make brownies. I honestly, my brownies are next level, but they're not slutty brownies. And I really like your slutty brownies.
I'll make slutty brownies as long as you make yours as well.
Yeah, sure. They're
I don't
very,
eat the
very
slutty
good.
brownies. There's too much in slutty brownies. I like a simple, delicious brownie. I don't need an Oreo and a cookie piled together to make something gross.
My brownies are, the outside of the brownie is super crazy crisp and yet flaky on the top so that the chocolate kind of like flippers and flakes off. And then the edges are all browned and crisp so you get the and then when your teeth get right into it, it's a puddle of just barely baked goo.
Do you use that special brownie pan that makes all of them edges?
No. I just have a brownie pan that's not that big. So the sad people who get the ones in the middle, who are we kidding? You cut the piece so big, there's nothing left. So, but that I make some badass brownies. So these brownies were just brownies. They're the kind of brownies that at the bake sale you'd be like, that wasn't worth $1. That's it. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
But yeah, so my son is there. We're all gathered around the thing, having our millionth drink and the not brownies, and everyone's just sort of decompressing. And I take a bite of it and I go, yeah. And I repeated what he said, and everybody's like this. And I go, he's such a little asshole. And I
love that you said that in front of people.
I go, he's such a little asshole. And their faces go just a little bit blank. And I go, and then I rattled off 3 or 4 other choice things that he had said that week. And one of my friends looks at me and he goes, you know, he's right there. Because he was with like standing among us. Like he was that close. He goes, you know, he's right there. And I went, oh yeah, I hope so. So it was clear that I was saying it for his benefit.
So they would have been fine you talking shit behind his back, but how are you supposed to better your children if you talk shit behind their back? You tell them to their face.
I'm the worst. I usually say really, really ugly things directly to their face, and then when they're not there, I say really nice things about them, both of which are true. Like I'm usually both talking sweet behind their back, but in this case, I reversed it because I was just so over him. He really, and the truth is, that's how he deals with stress. His dad was gone for a week. His uncle, who he's close with, could have maybe died. And for, a good 48 hours, we were wondering how bad this was really going to be. This was not a small thing. It's still not small. The whole world's an upheaval. He's back to theater. He's got a show coming up and he's in tech week. So he's, getting a little bit, everything. He's got brothers that are, alive and breathing, which makes him crazy. All of it. He's got a mom who wakes him up late. So his way of working it out is to call shit on shitty brownies. And that's the way it worked. And so guess what? I too will call you out.
We do get looks, though, from other parents. How could you say negative things about your gems and these children, these gifts from God? We are so blessed. Yeah, I got it. I'm blessed. Canine's barking. Sorry, John. And dear listener, yeah, I call it like I see it. Again, it's not always shame parenting for me, but how are they going to know that what they said hurt your feelings? What I'm supposed to say, listen, son, what you just said hurt my feelings. I worked very hard on those brownies and to get everything right for this experience so that everybody, fuck that. Who's got time to think out everything you say? We're in the moment. You didn't think about how nasty that comment was when you said it to me. So here goes. You're a dick. Don't talk to me like that. Next time you can make brownies for us. I would love to see you do better.
My normal go-to is to be a nice person. I don't have to think about that. That's the normal response. And so if he did do that thing under normal, not heightened stress circumstances, I might have just said, oh, well, that's not very nice. It's probably true, but it's not very nice. And then he would have immediately course corrected. And his normal thing is to not be that acerbic. Having said all that, we do have an honesty is the best policy when it comes to food. And I take that seriously because when I make something that is the best thing you've ever eaten and you say it, it means something. Right. And when I make something that I know is crap and you tell me it's okay, I'm not cooking for you again because it's a waste of my time. If you're not going to be, what's that for? It's my judgment of what I'm doing that matters. So when you tell me in your judgment, all you're trying to do is, I don't need to be, I'm not rising and falling for the compliments from you over the brownies. I want to know that, like me, you can tell a good brownie from a bad one. Otherwise, I didn't raise you right. Right. I'm also sad that I made the brownie.
Full of people.
Oh, he was just a dick. No, he was just a dick. And then I acted like an even bigger dick because I'm older and I should know better. And I'm a parent and I did all of the wrong things. But at the same time, I was like, you've been up my crack for a week, and this is how I cope. So here it
You
comes.
said it, under pressure. This morning, Stuart told me that I'm negative. Well, for the
Why?
past,
Is he still alive? Do we visit him in the ER?
For the past month, I have had back, ass, leg pain. I've had this pain. And initially I thought it was my bed, and we switched beds, and I have something's going on. Like I guess I thought I would start this morning. I woke up and I'm like, look, I've had a new bed for like a week, almost a week, not even a week. The bed, I'm sleeping better, and I'm still in wild pain when I wake up. Clearly something's wrong inside. It's no longer an outside thing. So when you're in pain, I've had a couple of root canals. You're not as nice as you are when you're not in pain. Can we agree?
Absolutely.
So, and pain is not something you can see from the outside. So you expect joy and happiness. And when you are met with, I said, sit the fuck down, or this morning, which is why Stuart told me I was negative this morning. He said, I'm sitting on the floor trying to stretch. I thought, I'm so out of shape. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with stretching and walking. And he said, you should really exercise.
Stay in the ER, Stuart.
I thought,
that's not the right.
Did you just fucking, I can't even stand up without being in pain. And you just told me to exercise. I just told you I'm in pain, and I'm going to start stretching a little so I can get muscles moving. And so I might have overreacted to something he said afterward by telling him, I don't know, something like, I hope you're better with your patients at work than you are here at home.
Hey, ho, 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 ho. You know what that's called? That's calling the brownie like I tasted.
All right. So I middle child my way through that.
Sometimes the truth is the truth, man. I mean, you didn't like hearing what he had to say, and it probably was bad advice. But at the same time, get some bedside manner. You're a doctor. Surely there was one class on this. What are you
sitting
doing?
on the floor with one leg stretched out and 3 dogs eating my face. And I said not nice things. He said, wow, you went dark fast. I'm in pain on the regular now. I'm in pain. So, and I'm not medicating for it because pain's there for a reason. When you turn a certain way, there's a reason it's there. It warns you that something's wrong. So super.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're in pain. We can be pain buddies now. I can help you. I can give you bad advice that won't help you. This is real. We've turned a corner. I'm super excited. I have a lot of very useless bad information to give you, and I'm ready to go.
We have an entire segment called Bad Advice, for which this week we did receive a letter.
What? Hit me. Is it time? I don't want to jump ahead, but.
Would you like to sing a jingle for bad advice?
Oh, Melissa's ass is hurting, but not as bad as the advice we're about to give.
We'd love not to help you. Dear listener, please realize that the 3 people who have written us are our favorite listeners. And if you would like to reach favorite listener status, here's how to do it. Write in. Ask for advice. Some of it might be good, but most of it will be bad advice. Dear Amy and Melissa, my child goes to school and brings a lunch. We got a letter home saying we can't have a list of things at school. What can I send my child to eat for lunch? There was a list too. Strawberries, peanut butter. Like there was just a huge list in the letter.
Strawberries?
We get it.
Oh,
there must be a kid who has an airborne allergy. Did I just laugh when I said that? That's not funny.
You know what's funny? No. Strawberry, I draw the line at fucking fruit. I'm sorry. Absolutely no. Strawberries? Stop it. Stop it. That's a teacher. That's a teacher with a preference. I don't like the smell of wheat bread or hummus. So leave that at home.
Hummus.
No glitter. Yeah, it's like first grade teachers. No glitter. You are in first grade. Get over your glitter. Right? Sorry. Get some eco-friendly glitter and a broom and shut up. That's how it's going to be.
You can listen to Emily Prokop's special on glitter and where it comes from and its whole inception. That was quite enjoyable. I made my family listen to that on a long drive. But what do you send to school for your kids to eat for lunch if they are either a picky eater, I'll throw that in there, or they cannot bring, like Jessica's kid goes to a Jewish community center, so there's no meat. You can't bring non-kosher meat, so they make it a dairy lunch. But you can't bring peanut butter because some kid at your table has a true allergy to peanuts and could catch on fire at any moment. So
yeah, but there's kids who have cheese. You've seen it all the time. Somebody threw, a child threw cheese at another child and the child died because he had such a massive cheese allergy. There's always somebody who's allergic to something. So at a certain point, we have to figure out how to accommodate those who need accommodation in a way that also accommodates everyone in the grade. So there's some common sense and then there's some inconvenience, and it needs to be shared by all. Everybody needs to be inconvenienced a bit for the good of everybody, and everybody needs to have a safe space that they can do all the things that they get to do for the good of everybody, and that works both ways. So, but at the same time, what no meat? She didn't have fucking meat.
No,
she eats meat all the time. Pastrami, I had meat at her thing.
But this school that Isaac goes to, they cannot have. It's a kosher style or kosher. I don't know. I was going to say ish.
Tell me. Well, you at least understand how to keep kosher. So educate them a goy, yes?
I would say peanut butter and jelly. I would say, I don't know.
My question for you focuses on the meat. Are you saying that there are acceptable meats and they must be kosher, or there is no meat?
I think they declared it's a dairy lunch. So you can send, I guess, tuna, egg salad. I used to send my kids with like cream cheese on a bagel or cream cheese and jelly or
This is terrible food. This is not food. These are snacks.
They did spend only half a day there. So
my God. What's your God called? Jehovah? No. What do we don't call God, right? We can't even talk to his face. No names on the God. Is that right? No, the Jewish tradition is you do not refer to, there is no name for God. Is that right?
We say God. We say Adonai, which is God, or Yud. There are letters. Yeah, we say there's God. I hate that in this podcast, I am the Jewish authority.
I don't think you're an authority on nothing.
Okay, good.
You read a book on it one time, and
I know
you go
nothing.
to the thing where they're nice to you and say, "Oh, Melissa, thank you for the volunteering, and come and have some cream cheese on a bagel because we're not having meat today. It's dairy snack."
Goldfish and peanut butter was always something. Then there was always the kid that sat next to my kid that had the meat and cheese roll-ups, because even if the meat were a kosher meat, you obviously can't have it with cheese. Like people didn't care, and nobody really caused a huge ruckus. I would be curious to know if at the JCC people said, you can't have that, but that's because of their policy, not because of a wild allergy. Do you have a teal pumpkin outside your house for Halloween this year?
No. We don't endorse or support that. What we do, I always try to give out I like to be the coolest Halloween on the block, and I don't necessarily love having all the caloric candy around. So even though we have a completely disastrous freewheeling Halloween policy, grab as much candy as you can get. You worked for it, you earned it, you walked the beat, keep it around, eat it. Like, I don't do this doling out, have a food fest the first day and then you can have one piece a day. Like, we have a very bad policy. Eat the fucking food. Just eat it. Eat the candy. So I don't even usually give out candy. One year we gave out Halloween pumpkin shaped whoopee cushions, and we give out all kinds of.
That's awesome.
Like we gave out little Chinese fortunes where it's like a fish fortune where you hold it in your hand, and if it curls one way, it tells you one thing. And so we try to give out sort of fun, goofy stuff like that, so people will remember us and not egg our house.
Where'd you get those whoopee cushions?
I looked for them carefully, and I think Oriental Traders. I went to the mecca of all things shitty, and looked for not Halloween favors, because I'm not giving out a fucking pencil. We have a clown in the neighborhood who gives out books, literally books. He gives out books on Jesus. We do have people that give out a pencil with their dental practice name on it. Yeah, we do. And there's a dentist who gives out a full-size candy bar and a full-size toothbrush. It's like, pal, just stop. What are you doing? Get on board or get out. We now have bumper stickers that say Jesus Ween, which is my favorite. And that's because yes, you should make that face. Jesus Ween, because it's, what's it called? Well, that's because we're putting God back in Halloween. It's Jesus Ween. I don't
understand.
It's because we have whole communities who, whenever Halloween falls on a Sunday, they refuse to observe it. And they have a special Halloween like on Friday because they just don't feel comfortable with kids dressing up and going around on a Sunday.
This is why I won't let my son go to school in the South.
Well, I mean, it's not just the South, and it's certainly, these people are not my people. I don't know whose people they are, but there is a level of coagulative comfort in all of those folks who tend to kind of be down here. What I found is it's the reverse North. When we had no, but in this way, not the way you think. Not the way that you think.
The South is the reverse North.
Fuck you. When we had a friend who lived in Austin, Texas, it was as hot as standing on the sun. And what she said is, in the summer, it's reverse winter. And by that, she means you can't go outside. It's because in the winter you can't go outside because it's too fucking cold. You can't stay out there for more than a second. That's what the summer becomes. It's reverse winter. You're inside all the time in the air conditioning or else you will die. So that's what I mean by the reverse North. The North has 1,000% all of these crazies too. 1,000,000% of all of these crazies. They just speak with a slightly different accent, and the racism, comes out and the inexcusable lack of education comes out in myriad ways. That's true. Hello, Susan Collins. Fuck you. The South gets such a reputation as being the only one with lunatics, and it's just because we're more colorful and, frankly, wearing fewer clothing.
Do you want to stick in Maine? Because you threw Maine under the bus there. How about LePage? How about everybody who speaks in Maine, except for the people that we know and love, speak out of a totally different hole than we're used to hearing? Exactly. I'm not saying that the crazies aren't in the North, too. But when you're in the South and you're that kind of crazy, you do it with a smile and you do it with a lilt and you do it with a mask of bless her heart, which really means go fuck yourself. Like
it can. It doesn't always mean that, but yes, you're right. That's the overarching perception, and that's a slice of it that it is hidden. There's just different rules here in the same way that there's very different rules in New York versus different rules in New England versus different rules in, the Northeast entirely, or,
Florida. Florida has its own. Yeah.
Florida. There is so much to adore about what we have here in the South. It's really tough to take it on the chin so often and have everything be so misguided because of the very large spotlight that's put on the absolute worst of all humanity, who also happens to live here because it's like the bugs. It's warm enough that you're not going to die in the winter. So they just stay all year long, regardless of having any kind of resources or ability to move out anywhere else. There's a whole lot of fantasticness here that's lost under this flag. Quite literal flag that is waved by a very few. And guess what? There are people waving that flag in every state.
That would be the
in
Confederate
USA.
flag.
Yeah. You have the news. You see it. It's not just in the South.
You're right.
So,
hey, Amy, when people call you by the wrong name, do you correct them?
My name is Amy. So I don't get that a lot, except in junk mail, where I typically get any, which I find super annoying.
Any?
Yeah.
That's a typo. That's not somebody calling you a name. That's a typo.
It's still pretty rude when I can be confused with anyone, just any. My children's names are all very long, elaborate, and ethnic, and they never correct anybody. And and they sound like words they're not. So not only do they get the wrong name, it's either pronounced incorrectly, which makes it really kind of like a spike straight through your spine when you hear it. Worse than that, it's pronounced incorrectly and then becomes a different word. And the little one makes me nuts because he started introducing himself the wrong way. It's almost like, I think of that Beto O'Rourke. The kid's name is Robert, and he grew up in Texas, and Robert becomes Beto, and, that's how he goes now because that's what everybody called him. That's just his community named him as opposed to his parents. So it's like when they call you the wrong name, it's okay to say, let me, just to pronounce it once. You don't have to. The challenge, I think, for him is he'd be doing it all day long. And he's like, I don't, whatever. I don't care. And the oldest one was the same way. He ended up with a nickname, which is the nickname, a shortened form of his very, very long name that he actually preferred. And now he introduces himself that way. So it's like, what are you doing? I put a lot of thought into this. You're supposed to, you come from away. You were already in Jamaica coming through.
You're already at Ellis Island.
We gave you these names on purpose. Yeah.
Got it over with. We already got it over with, the whole naming thing. Why are you bringing me back? I went to, my mitzvah minute this week. I gave blood because I told you guys it's the only good thing that I do. Obviously, I'm negative and in pain. And, I also rescue. So there are two good things that I do. So I gave blood. And the woman called me Michelle. Well, it became upsetting to me only because I wrote my name down when I signed in. She wrote my name on a sticker correctly, put the sticker on me that says, that sticker, be nice to me, I gave blood today, that sticker, that says Melissa, number 3. I was the third to donate. I was half an hour early and I was the third to donate.
Again with this.
I know, something's wrong with me. So why is she calling me Michelle if clearly she wrote my name down?
Maybe she gave blood and doesn't have enough.
She's the phlebotomist. Do I correct her?
No.
I did
not.
No,
1,000%. Not in that environment. And here, when people call you the wrong name and it's a mistake, it's an accident, why on earth? I always try to correct it when it's required in the least offensive way possible, where I'll introduce myself to someone else and very, very clearly pronounce say who I am. You know what I mean?
Amy.
Here's the context clue, right? It's like if you're just tracking along, so I don't have to directly tell you anything, but you can pick up, I think I said the wrong name earlier. Bob never has a second cup of coffee at home. Whatever your little, you can catch up, and then I didn't have to go, hey, dumbass. Right. We were married 30 years ago. Don't you know my name?
Don't you remember me? Right. The other side of the bed. I'm negative. I say mean things because I'm in pain.
That's right.
Fuck you. Right. All right. I have a get off my lawn moment. And since John is not here, it's mine.
God, where did he go?
This is a people I hate. And I hate to bring it back because I did have 100 gratefuls. And I do. And I'm very good at them now. So I am grateful for so many things, for having gotten to the theater alive, for having my family with me, for such a great show. So here goes. Why do you have to have a gender reveal party? Why do you think anybody gives a fuck of the gender of the baby inside your belly? Why are you so full of yourself thinking everybody gives a shit? I read an article this week about an Iowa woman who died after the gender reveal, explosion of powder, killed this 53-year-old woman who went to a gender reveal party with shrapnel, pretty much a pipe bomb inside this thing that exploded so she could find out the gender of her baby. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, all right, so there are other, of course, this sent me down a rabbit hole of how gender reveals have gone wrong. The car that when it skids in Australia, you do a little circle burnout thing and the smoke that comes out of the back of the car is either pink or blue. I can't even say it with without contempt. Well, the burnout one, the car exploded. The whole car caught on fire because you're not supposed to put shit in the rear of your car or your body. And it exploded and caught on fire, and the driver got out with seconds before it caught fire. Okay. How about the two people holding a stick trying to hit a balloon to get that balloon to explode and hitting the pregnant woman in the belly with that bat, trying to find out. Again, you had it coming. Or the time where the balloon flew away and everybody raced to go get it and ran into a fence and impaled themselves on a fence to go get the balloon that flew away, still not knowing what was inside and the gender of the child.
He had it coming.
How about
had it coming.
He had only himself to blame. How about the U.S. Border Patrol agent who had a gender reveal party in Arizona that sparked a wildfire that killed 45,000 acres and $8 million of damage?
I remember that.
Are you fucking kidding me? And how about the dog who ate the cake that had the gender reveal color on the inside, and they didn't know still, and they had to probably wait for him to poop to figure out what the gender was. People,
she ran calling wildfire. That kid's fucked.
Can we agree that the gender reveal party is the dumbest fucking party to ever have?
Yes, I agree. It is the dumbest, but I harbor just a little tiny bit of, I don't know. I want to give these people their only moment. These are people who are probably fall into a pretty tiny little range. And on the one end, you have, this is one of the top 3 parties they'll ever throw in their lives. And then on the other end, these are people who overly decorate for every fucking holiday. So it's kind of a thing. This is, it is really, really stupid and really, really misguided and dangerous. And why? I didn't do it. I've never even been invited to one. I don't even really have a point of view on it other than it's horrifically sad to hear all the things you've talked about. But isn't there some degree of pitiful sadness for the people who want to participate? Or instead, are we, these are just goers. These are just party people who like a little bit of pink and blue or maybe purple. We don't know what you're going to get. It is 2019.
Well, you don't know what you're going to get. Gender and I don't even want to get into
you get
all
what you
of that.
get. You don't pitch a fit, as they like to say.
In the South, but in the North, they say you get what you get and you don't get upset because your get rhymes.
Because that still rhymes. Oh, stick it up your pipe bomb. I don't know where that was
Seriously,
going.
you pretty much created a pipe bomb. So we had a friend over the other day. Yesterday, he was teaching guitar to my kids, and he said, "Could you imagine that kid? Oh. He's already a murderer. He's already killed one."
I was going to say it's just there's no good end to this story. They will always be racked with guilt. It's, what are you going to do? Happy birthday to, oh God, here we remember.
I can't even celebrate you anymore because it was so important for us to tell everybody in a surprise whatever what your gender was that we killed Nana's buddy. Like what? God. That we killed Aunt Joni, who came in from Colorado to see you and flew back in a box. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Stop it. All of you gender reveal people, stop it right now.
I agree, and they should. And part of it, I think, is we are continuing to march in the over, bigger, faster, la, la, la of everything in life. Partly because we have the opportunity to see it done by others and not in a, I have to, but in an, I'm inspired to do something. That seems fun. That's a new, let's do something new. Let's add this tradition. That seems like, oh, okay. Seems like a good idea to build a bomb. Let's do that, right? But everything is like that. Weddings are like that. Engagement portraits. My favorites now are the people who mock this stuff, where there was a woman who had, she did like a new baby photo session with like a dog, or like a new baby photo session with like a burrito. And she was like pictures of her holding the burrito, like, or a job, or all the getting engaged photos. They do it with their new job just to make fun of, why do we have to document everything in this way? And even we keep talking about colleges. When we applied for college, when our parents applied for college, if we were lucky enough to have parents who even applied or went to college, which not all of us do, how fantastic was it to even go or to even have the ability to fill out a form? Now it's, you're trying to get, it's the most ridiculous gauntlet that anyone could ever run through. So everything seems like it's way more elaborate and complicated and inspirational and layered with meaning. Sometimes you're pregnant and the meaning is you're fucking pregnant. We don't have to celebrate.
What happened to the 10 fingers, 10 toes? Or like, I used to be annoyed by the people like, well, we know what it is, but we're not telling you. And I used to grab them by the shirt and say, I don't give a fuck. I was asking because it seemed like the right thing to do because you're fucking pregnant. I don't give a fuck if you have triplets, if your kid is born with every organ on all genders. I don't give a fuck what you're having. Mostly now because you said, I know, but I'm not telling you. I want to punch you in the belly right now.
So Mom, this is my roommate, Melissa. I'm glad she came to our gender reveal party.
and I would never go because now I know I could die. Now I know a gender reveal party is just as dangerous as driving a fucking motorcycle up in northern PA.
If it's that risky, let's go do some drugs and dangle off a bridge. This is crazy town.
Why? I don't think when you take the picture of your burrito, that's a sign of, I don't know, it's intelligence. I saw this thing about librarians who took pictures like the Kardashians. Satire is my wheelhouse. Is a sign of intelligence. This is a sign of fucking stupidity to have a pipe bomb built and put in something to explode and kill your guests. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Your Trans Am just exploded because you had to rig the back of it to spray powder and everybody was caught in the powder and then the car caught on fire. It's not okay, people. It's not okay.
Well, that's true. It is not okay. Having said that, are these just the MacGyvers among us? I mean, are these, well, there's a line goes around in the South. I'm sure people say it everywhere else. Famous last words. Hey, man, look at this.
We have total TV shows about that, don't we? Like America's Funniest Videos and Jackass.
Hold my beer.
Ridiculousness.
That's the epitaph. Yeah. So
famous last words. Dear listener, what are your thoughts on gender reveal parties and how dangerous they've become and how am I wrong? I mean, I know I'm wrong with my get it over with mentality, but yeah, I know when I'm wrong. But tell me, am I wrong about this?
How could you be wrong? What kind of question is this?
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks you're wrong, you should punch him in the face. And speaking of which, I'm really, Stuart, I'm really negative. I feel like everything that's popping out of my mouth right now, this is a bit of a stress relief to get to talk to you, to get to talk about these topics, to be on this show, the 100 Gratefuls. I've slipped into Gratefuls. But the reality is, on occasion, when I listen back to hear if there was, something I can learn from, there's always something I can learn from, gang. I know in this one, I'm going to say, I can't believe that I just admitted to doing that to my kid. I can't believe I thought that was funny. And at the time, I really did think it was funny. And my friends knew what it was. And a part of it is there is such a relief in knowing that we all have our worst moments and we all have our best moments. Right? And to be able to talk about it in a way that feels like you're connecting with somebody else, just to put this out there, that also kind of makes me feel worse. It makes me feel like, oh, I don't want to put that out there. I don't want to put that out there because I'm judging my own brownies, right? I'm not worried about backlash or feedback because we get a lot of feedback because people love to write in at Brilliant Observations. I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is my own self. Is this the kind of person that I want to be? Do I want to be putting this out there? Do I want to be stuffing pink pipe exploding bombs into the tailpipe of my car? Is that the life I want to lead? Is that the donut circle I want to be driving?
But I'm going to say that talking to your children about their comments and calling them on it when it happens is the kind of parent I want to be. I don't want to send my kids into the world thinking that their shit doesn't stink, thinking that they could speak without thinking. I like the way my children, I don't always like the way they talk to me, but I like that I'm always getting honesty. Ethan actually asked me so he's on meds where he cannot have any alcohol. Yes, he's 16. He shouldn't have alcohol anyway, but he's having 3 teeth removed. And he said, is there anything that like your friend in Oregon can send me to? And I said, what the fuck did you just say to me? But he feels comfortable enough to say, Mom, I'm scared to be in pain. I'm scared about this. And I said, well, you got me and we will get through this. I find chocolate gets me through things like this. So I bought a huge thing of pudding because, and I'll make
the teeth. I was like,
yeah,
what?
for his
That's
teeth.
So gross. Oh, it's teeth.
Dear listeners, pass judgment on us by going to all the socials at Listen Brilliant and writing us at brilliantobservations@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Right, Amy?
That's right, Melissa.
Thanks for listening.
I'd say thanks for listening too.
We'll talk at you again. Bye.
Bye.